Hi, this is Chris, Chap in the Cup Motor Legends. Today I'm going to be talking about an exciting new high-end suit, a 3-layer laminated suit from the Belgian brand Richa, and the suit is called the Richa Armada. Richa is a very successful producer of motorcycle apparel. It's a Belgian company. They've been around since 1956. They make some great gear. We're particular fans, it's got to be said, of their gloves. Their gloves are as good as anybody's, and they're well priced. We'd recommend them to anyone. But in general, Richa is what I suppose we'd term a mid-market brand. They make some nice gear and it offers great value. As a company, we don't offer a lot of Richa products. We tend to pick and choose those that we particularly like. So we bring in a commuter pant with zips up the legs, that it's called the stripper pant. We offer a highly reflective jacket called the flared jacket. We sometimes take on some of their leather products. Now, the Armada suit, this suit is not the first Richa laminated suit that we've ever offered. A couple of years ago during lockdown, we took on a suit called the Infinity 2, and that was an amazing suit for the money. For some, it proved to be a godsend. Others, however, saw it as a way of getting Rukka on the cheap, and I think those people ended up being a little bit disappointed. But for the money, it was a revelation. But that was very much an entry-level offering. The Armada here, this suit is a very different kettle of fish. It's a suit that's pitched very much at the likes of Rukka, Klim and Stadler, and is offered at a commensurate price. Now, this is uncharted waters for Richa. They've never produced a jacket or a suit with a spec like this. On paper, I have to say that the spec is very impressive. It's got all the bells and whistles that you could wish for. Now, what we can't vouch for is how well the suit is going to stand up to heavy use, although the 5-year warranty that the Armada comes with is certainly encouraging. Nor at this stage can we really say what the suit is like to ride in, because we haven't really ridden in it. Today, what we're going to do is talk through all of the suit's features. We're going to talk about what we like and what we don't like and how we feel that it's going to perform. Now, Richa is a very experienced and very professional company, and they won't have cut corners with the Armada. This is a suit that they will want to get right. They won't want to be embarrassed by a product at this level that doesn't work. But it's going to be some time before we've got sufficient feedback to really be able to confirm whether this is a suit that stands up to the kind of abuse that motorcyclists are going to expect to heap upon it. The elephant in the room, however, is this. The jacket costs £1,100, the matching pant £750, making this a not inexpensive suit. In fact, let's be frank about it, it's a downright expensive suit. We did a Facebook post about this earlier in the year, and we asked people, how would you feel about paying nearly £2,000 for a Richa suit? Because for us, this is the key issue. Remember, for example, that Toyota decided to create the Lexus brand when they wanted to take their cars upmarket. And the question is whether Richa is being overly ambitious in trying to capture both ends of the motorcycle market under one brand name. Now, interestingly, the response to our Facebook post was almost unanimous. Nobody, so they said, cared about the brand name. They would all be guided solely by the quality of the products. In some ways, that was fairly predictable. People love to think that they're very rational when it comes to their decision making. But actually, and I know this from my former life as it were, what people say, what people think and what people do are often very different. And to me, the question is still the most important one. It's still a valid question. Now, today I'm going to talk through the jacket and the pant in some detail. I'll leave nothing out, and I'm going to paint the jacket and the pant in as favourable light as I possibly can. But I do find myself asking how many people will actually be prepared to part with their hard-earned cash for a suit like this when Stadler, who make what we consider to be the best suit on the market, when the Stadler suit costs less. In fact, if you look at the Rukka Nivala, one of our favourite suits, a much respected suit, if you remove the £300 for the down inners from that suit, then the new Richa is going to cost more than the Rukka Nivala. There's no two ways about it. Richa is being very ambitious. First thing to know is that the Armada is constructed from a 3-layer Gore-Tex Pro shell material. Now, that's as good as it gets. It's how the best suits on the market are made. Historically, laminated suits have been or can be a little bit stiff, a little bit uncomfortable, and that's a result of the fact that when you bond the membrane onto the outer fabric, it just makes it stiffer. Now, what some manufacturers do, they put stretch panels within a jacket, or they weave some stretch into the outer material to make it more comfortable. The Armada doesn't contain much stretch, so it's not going to be the most comfortable suit on the market. But our experience is that comfort often comes down to fit, and there will be people for whom the Armada fits like a glove. But it's not a jacket that's going to work on everybody. The jacket is what we would term a mid-length jacket. It's not adventure riding long, but it's not short and sporty. Here on the front of the jacket, we've got 2 pockets here. They actually count in Richa's terms. They count as 4 pockets because there's a top entry, there's a zip here underneath this flap, but there's a side entry as well. The 5th pocket is on the back. There's a large map pocket that runs across the back. You've got a Napoleon pocket that runs sideways here behind the storm flap, and that's where you put something like a wallet. Here, the main zip is protected by a double storm flap, on the inner of which there's a rain channel. So water's not going to get through this, even though the main zip that runs up and down the jacket, and it's a double zip, even though that main zip is not a waterproof zip. Pleasingly, the jacket has quite a strong lowered back. Of course, one of the key benefits of a laminated jacket, other than the fact that it resists wetting out, is that you get direct to body venting, as the air doesn't have to pass through a membrane. So in a laminated jacket, you've got a vent because the membrane is bonded onto it. When you have the vent, it goes directly through to the body. And so in recognition of that, Richa has equipped the Armada with plenty of vents. You've got 2 fold-back vents here on the chest, and they're pretty impressive. They're secured by magnets, so you just lift that up and it connects like that. You've got 2 vents here underneath the arms. You've got vents that run down the forearms as well. On the back, there are 2 vertical vents, and then there's a large horizontal vent. There's a perforated panel also that runs here down the central plaque. So you can undo the main zip, and then there's a perforated panel. But in our view, it's not really going to work, because that only works if there's a way of holding back the storm flaps. And on this jacket, I'm afraid there isn't. Finally, there are 2 little vents here. They're very small. I just can't see them doing much. By the time you're sat on the bike, you might have a screen. You've certainly got a binnacle in front of you. I can't see air getting into those. So to tell the truth, I don't think they're up to much. In terms of protection, it would initially appear that the jacket wants for little. It comes as standard with D3O level 2 armour in the shoulders, in the elbows, and in the back as standard. On the shoulders and the elbows, you get a layer of Armacor, which is a super strong fabric comprised of Cordura and Kevlar, but over those Armacor panels, you then get another layer of SuperFabric, and this is impressive. Now, what is less impressive, given all of this, is that the jacket is only rated A under EN 17092. Got to say, it's not unheard of for a high-end Gore-Tex jacket to get an A rating, but that's where manufacturers normally use some stretch component within the jacket that fails to meet the standard. But we don't get any stretch on the Armada, so I have to say that I'm a little bit surprised, a little bit disappointed at the jacket's single A rating. The Armada jacket is no lightweight, but as a compensation for its heft, I would expect the jacket to have a higher safety rating. Now, the impression I get is that someone has put down on a table all of the best jackets on the market, and what they've done with the Armada is attempts to incorporate all of the best features from those jackets. And the Armada, therefore, has all the bells and whistles that you could ever want. You've got, for example, these side adjusters. You've got an internal kidney belt. You've got loads of reflective banding. You've got some rather cheap-looking, I've got to say, adjusters on the arms. At the neck, there's a removable storm collar. You get a Klim-like loop on the collar for holding the collar back, although for some reason only on one side. You've got the zip gussets at the side of the jacket to enable the jacket to splay a little bit when you're sat on the bike. You've got a neat drawstring arrangement around the hem. Obviously, the jacket can be connected to a matching pan or the matching pan, but what Richa have done, which you don't see from many other manufacturers, is that they've offered both a short zip or a long zip. Now, one thing that you don't get with the Armada is a thermal component, and that's not a problem for us because we often like to provide our own solution, be that electric or whatever. But when you remove that from the equation, it just makes the Armada jacket look even more expensive. The bottom line with the Armada is that it's got a spec that's as good as anything out there, and we cannot fault the lengths that Richa have gone to make this jacket. But sometimes what one learns is that less is more, and we do wonder that if Richa had put less into this jacket, given it less features, it might be easier and nicer to ride in. Finally, the jacket comes, and this is interesting and pretty much unique. The only manufacturer that we know that does this is Stadler. They offer the jacket in a regular, a short and a long configuration. So a longer jacket will have a longer line down to the waist and longer sleeves. A shorter one will be shorter in the body and shorter in the sleeves. Unfortunately, the UK importer is only going to bring it in as a regular size. So if you wanted this jacket and if you wanted the long or the short, that would have to be on special order. As is nearly always the case with a suit, the lower half will match the top half in many respects. So you get the same 3-layer Gore-Tex Pro Shell material, you get layers of Armacor in vulnerable areas, you can then get overlays of SuperFabric on top of that Armacor in this case. You've got level 2 D3O throughout, so in the hips and the knees. You've got 3M high-vis reflective material in certain areas. You've got connecting zip. Again, as with the jacket, as you would expect, you've got a short zip and you've got a long zip. Additionally, with these pants, you get some accordion stretch around the back, just below the waistline. You've also got some accordion stretch above the knees. You've got vents on the thighs, incoming vents and outgoing vents so that the air can exhaust around the leg and out the back. You've got an adjustable waist belt, but you've also got braces, and we like a trouser that comes with braces. It's good to know that these trousers come as standard with braces. You've got 2 zipped pockets. There are some pads on the seat that will stop you sliding around on the bike. There's an elasticated panel in the crotch that is going to give you a little bit more comfort. You also get some more stretch behind the knees. Also get some leather patches inside the legs that enable you to get a better purchase on the tank of the bike. And you've got long zips covered with storm flaps from the hem that come up almost to the knees that are going to allow you to wear these trousers over pretty much any kind of touring boot. Now, as with the jacket, there are no flies on these pants. Well, there are flies, but you know what I mean. The spec wants for nothing. And these trousers are going to work, as with the jacket, really well for some people. One of the important things, of course, is that they come in 3 lengths. But, unfortunately, the UK importer is only bringing them into the country in short and regular lengths. So I'm afraid if you've got long legs, you're going to have to whistle. I think this may well be one of the trickiest reviews that I have ever attempted. I want to give the suit a fair hearing, but at the same time I feel I've got to be honest about it. Now, the suit on one level has got the lot. You couldn't hope for more wizardry if you bought a suit from the likes of Rukka, Stadler, Klim or Halvarssons. We haven't ridden in the suit yet, so to be fair, we don't know how it's actually going to perform on the road. But if this suit came from one of the other brands that I've already just mentioned, then I think that we would be confident that it would deliver. But this is a Richa. They've got no experience at this end of the market, so they don't really know what people who are spending pretty much £2 on a suit have come to expect and would expect of a suit. I'm left wondering, therefore, who would buy the Armada? Now, because Richa is a new player in this particular category, one might have expected them to adopt what is known as market penetration pricing. In other words, to price lower than the competition in order to gain a foothold in the market. But Richa just hasn't done that. The Armada is more expensive than the superlative, much respected Rukka. Once, as I've mentioned before, the downliners have been removed. It's more expensive than the suit that we consider to be the best suit on the market, the Stadler Supervent. And it's more expensive than the top Klim suit, the Klim Kodiak. Once, of course, again, the liners have been removed. I say the most expensive Klim suit, but that's the most expensive Klim road suit. The bottom line is that the Armada isn't just expensive, it's bloody expensive. Now, I admire ambition, I admire courage, I admire confidence. But if someone were to come into the shop looking for a high-end laminate outfit for riding on the road, for commuting and touring, would I recommend the Armada to them? And the answer is, I'm afraid, probably not. This is a good suit, no doubt, but how many people will risk taking the risk of spending so much money on such an unknown quantity? The answer, I suspect, is not many. So I hope you found that review of the Richa Armada GTX interesting. One thing that has come to light since we recorded the video is that the jacket has now been upgraded from the A level to the AA level. So you can ignore what we said in the review. The jacket is now AA rated. Anyway, if you'd like to see more Richa products or more laminated jackets, visit the website motorlegends.com. If you'd like to learn more about the Armada in particular, click on one of the links on the screen. Sometimes they're up there, sometimes they're down there. That will take you to a dedicated page where you can check out the spec in a little bit more detail. You can check availability, and obviously if you want to buy the jacket, you can do that there and then. When you buy from us, we try to make the process as simple, straightforward and risk-free as we possibly can. There's no delivery charge on any item of protected wear that you buy from us. Returns are totally free, and what's more, we give you a full 12 months in which to decide whether you do want to return something to us. Now, we have the best price promise in the business. John Lewis was rightly famed for its never knowingly undersold price promise. We go one stage better. If you can find a competitor selling anything that we sell at a price that is lower than ours, we will beat that competitor's price by a full 10%. Now, there are a few terms and conditions associated with what we call our price beat, nothing particularly onerous, but if you are going to price beat us, I suggest you go over to the website and check out what those terms and conditions are. If in the future you would like to receive bulletins from us about new products, then if you go to the website, at the top of every page, there's a piece of script that says newsletter sign up. Click on there. Within seconds, you'll be in business. You'll receive bulletins from us in the future. If, however, you prefer to get your information like this, in other words, videographically, we'd be simply delighted if you want to become a subscriber to a YouTube channel, and you can do that by clicking on the button below. Finally, I'd like to make a play for our little shop here at Motor Legends. We're about a mile from the centre of Guildford, a mile from the railway station, and as I've suggested, the shop is small, it has a small footprint, but it's attached to a warehouse where we have more than £3 million of stock arranged over 3 floors. Technically, that makes this the second largest motorcycle apparel shop in the UK. But we think that we are far more than just the amount of merchandise we have here in the building. We're all about service, we're all about personal fitting. If you want to check us out, visit Trustpilot. We have the highest 5-star ranking in the business. And when you come to see us, we'll serve you only the finest Italian illy coffee, or we'll serve you proper Yorkshire tea in a proper teapot. And who knows, if you're lucky, you might even get to sample one of our delicious motorcycle-shaped shortbread biscuits. Anyway, this has been Chris. I hope to talk to you again soon.